Hello and welcome to another episode of Research Plus Practice. Wishing all of you a very happy new year, and we hope that this year brings with it good luck and prosperity for all of us. So have a wonderful time. Now in this first video of 2021, we are reflecting on one of the most commonly used strategy tools, or one of the most commonly used brainstorming tool, which is the SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities and threat. There's a good chance that almost all of you would have used this tool one or the other time, and my effort today is only to share with you three things that I have come across working with teams across sectors, across organizations. Three things where they tend to make most mistakes. So this is Shantam, and this is my experience of working with this SWOT analysis tool across various teams. So SWOT tool is a very simple and intuitive tool to do a wholesome organization analysis. A typical structure is what I have put out in this slide. As you would know, there are four key sections: strengths, weakness, opportunities and threats. In strengths, we mention assets, capabilities and competencies with which we will stand out compared to others. Weaknesses are just the opposite. These are those assets, capabilities or competencies where we are limited compared to others. And opportunities are something of avenues or arenas where we believe we can succeed based on what we really have, what kind of strengths and weaknesses we have. That would tell us what opportunities open out or what threats might come up because of the strengths and weaknesses that we possess. So the three key things that you need to remember when you are doing SWOT analysis for your own organizations, teams, or for your own self. Point number one: strengths and weaknesses are relative terms. So consider this example. I might tell you that I jog 5 to 10 kilometers every day, and many of you might say, wow, that's a good competence to have, Shantam. And few of you, like my friends, might laugh at me and say, hey, we run half marathons, full marathons, 5 and 10 kilometers is nothing. But please note, given the box in which you place me, if you were to place me in a group which does not do running, 5 to 10 kilometers is a very strong competence to have. But if you place me in a group where you have runners who do marathons, well, 5 to 10 kilometers is just starting off, right? So please note, these are relative terms, and when you are doing your analysis, having the benchmarks or knowing the boundary in which you will be competing or where you will be comparing yourself is very critical. Your strengths can become your weaknesses, and your weaknesses can become your strengths if I were to just move you from one group to another. So knowing that benchmark, knowing your group is very critical when you are mentioning strengths and weaknesses, because these are relative terms. Point number two: strengths and weaknesses are contextual. Now go back to the video we discussed on resource-based view. It was one of the early videos, maybe a year back. There we discussed about David and Goliath. Now think about that story. David is a small shepherd, a small boy, a shepherd who takes his sheep for grazing. He does not have any combat or any fighting skills. The only skill that he has is he uses a sling and stones to scare away wolves. Goliath, on the other hand, is a warrior. He's 7 foot tall, very powerful, very skilled with weapons. If you know the story, you know very well that David actually defeated Goliath. Now, if you were to do the SWOT analysis for both these individuals, any day Goliath's strength would be far more superior when it comes to fighting. But there was one strong weakness. Now, if you look at the SWOT analysis for Goliath, he needed the person in those times in a hand-to-hand combat. So he needed the adversary next to him to fight and win the war, or to fight and win the battle. But in case of David, well, he's a boy, he's running around, and he will not come next to you. He'll just keep throwing stones from distance, and very accurate stones. So please note,
the very strength of Goliath, that being very strong, powerful, became a weakness because he cannot really bring his strength into play. Whereas David, his strength was in the play because he was standing far away, he was covering his weakness, which was not being very physically powerful, but he was able to throw stones from a distance. So please note, your strengths and weaknesses are contextual. Want another example? Look at cricket. If you have a very good spin bowling attack, but I give you a flat deck where ball does not spin, well, your strength will be neutralized to a large extent, isn't it? And that's what we typically do. When you're playing in India, you get a typical kind of wickets. When you go to Australia, you get typical kind of wickets. The whole point being that as a strategist, your ability to bring your strengths into play, or your ability to limit the use of your weaknesses or weak assets, is really what the game is all about. Point number 3, strengths, weakness, opportunity and threats are interlinked. Now typically while doing strengths and weaknesses, the most time the analysts are still do a fairly good job, though I've still found some people mentioning same asset in strengths and weakness. For example, I've seen people mention we have got a very strong R&D team, and then in weakness they have mentioned our optics or our thermal or some specific skill set needs to be developed. These two don't gel together. I mean, am I to consider that this strength will really come into play, or will this strength not come into play? But that is still a very small part. The bigger thing that people miss out is your strengths needs to translate into opportunities, and your weakness translates into threats or challenges. What do I mean by that? So if you're doing a if you're looking at a good SWOT analysis and you see this statement, very strong R&D team, what opportunities should I look at? Maybe the opportunities you will look at can be that the team will come up with many new products, new innovative products, will be able to open out new markets for you. If a team writes, I have got a very strong sales and distribution channel or very strong sales team, maybe expanding the market or improving your margins is something as an opportunity that will come out. But if you don't see these statements coming in the opportunity, you know that the SWOT analysis is half-baked. The cheat code here is anything that you mention in your strength, if it really gets activated, it will result in an opportunity. The same thing happens in weakness, isn't it? So if someone writes, for that matter, our organization does not have a very strong social media presence, well, the threat is that maybe an e-commerce or something kind of business will be a threat for you, or if there is a competition that is coming from that side, that will be a threat for you. Why? Because you do not have one of the core assets in place, or that is a weakness. So please note, when you are evaluating or analyzing a SWOT template, a good SWOT analysis will always have strengths getting activated into opportunities and weaknesses getting curtailed into threats. Well, that's all of the 3 things that I wanted to leave you with. One final thing, and I have shared it earlier, but I'll share it again in the context of SWOT. Please note, when we write strengths and weaknesses, something that is a strength for you today might become a weakness tomorrow because competition has caught up, or because you may have slipped in your performance. So please note, SWOT analysis is not final. SWOT analysis keeps changing over a period of time, and it is your skill set, it is your ability to revisit these SWOT analysis and look at what are the strengths that are still relevant, and are they still leading to the right opportunities, or what strengths have become your weakness. Maybe there is a weakness that has really transformed into a strength over the investments that you have made in last 2 years. So this interplay will keep happening and will keep unfolding wonderful opportunities for you to grow as a person or in your own business. So that's all from me today. We do hope that you really liked the video, and do share your thoughts and feedback with us. And until next time, goodbye and good luck.